Welcome to D-Mod Garage. Today we're doing an engine build. This is the blackmamba build. Let's come and have a look. I'll show you. It's under here hiding, and this is going to be an unusual one. Now have a look. She's all black, all right. So this has actually been ceramic coated. Disregard the rocker covers because they're going to come off and get powder coated in a satin black. Basically, this entire motor is going to be satin black. And when I mean the entire motor, I mean the entire motor, everything. You're not going to have any bit of chrome or nickel. I just want a completely black motor. No hardware, shiny, nothing. Carbies, the whole 9 yards. Anyway. So what we have to do today, this is a 2276, it's a Rod Penrose motor that he's built. To this stage, obviously, we've got to assemble it to the rest of it. It is running 40 IDF Webers. We've got some little bit of fitting to do, some porting to do. At the moment now, you can see here, we're not quite right with the ports. So we've got to do a little bit of clearancing here. And also on the manifolds, and of course they're going to be black too, these ones here. So we're going to have to get these cleaned up on the inside. There's castings inside there that just look terrible, so we're going to fix them up as well. But basically that's what we're going to do. We're going to get this slowly built up, and this motor here is actually going to go into the ute, into Miss Purdy, because the 1641, the single port, was really only just a temporary motor that I had put in there to get it up and running, so it was never going to be the motor we were going to keep. So this is exactly the same motor that's in Oven Boy's single cab that we did, the blue one. So super powerful, perfect for a ute for getting around. So we'll get into the details of the motor later. We have a lot of powder coating to do. Unfortunately, a lot of the tinware I got was chrome, and it's not going to stay chrome. You can see there. It's a bit of a pity, but all that's going to get sandblasted. And then it's with all the rest of the gear there. And yeah, we're going to chuck it all in the oven and powder coat it properly. So that's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of powder coating. Linkages, pulleys, all that stuff. You know, all this stuff here. All of it's going to be black. The whole entire motor. That's why I'm calling it the blackmamba build. All right, let's get some match porting done. Okay, so one of the first things we've got to do here is just double check our heads. And you can see I've put the gasket on, and you can see that we've got a little bit of room that needs to be machined away or dremeled away. If you take off the gasket here, I've just put it in black over the top of the blue there so you can see it. So we've got to just take that little bit, it's probably about 1.5 mils around. The rest of it's pretty good. The bottom's smooth. So that needs to be done on that side, and this side's exactly the same. So just a little bit of taking away some material on the top there, and on the actual manifolds I've got this one set up over here, so this is ready to go. You can see I've got the gasket in position, and you can see where we've just got to come around and clean it. It doesn't need a lot. I'll take these out, you'll see. You can just see there, that's a little bit, probably just a little bit on the side there and underneath. Yeah, so we'll just finagle. I'm just going to use the Dremel with a little sanding disc like that, and we'll just clean that up and get it done. Okay, probably need a little bit more aggressive. We might go to the die grinder. Might be able to just get a bit more material off, but I'm going to put a mask on. Okay guys, so you can see here we've pretty much got it all nicely matched to the gasket, and I do have an arrow. Let's just put this the right way so we can see. Let's have a look there. There we go. Once that's all lined up, we've got no gappage. I'll just sit with my fingers in the way. There we go. So we'll go and get the carbies now, and we're going to go and double check the other sides and see what they look like. Let's have a look. Okay, so we are pretty much done with these. You can see I've gone inside and just taken out all the burrs and castings. There was some pretty gnarly castings in some of them, and yeah, just cleaned them up so we get a better flow. I just cleaned up the casting on the outside too. These are all going to be powder coated black, of course. So right, what we've got to do now is flip the motor upside down so that we can actually just clean up these ports here a little bit. And obviously we don't want shit going into the motor, so we're going to block those up quickly and get it done. So we've got a lot of sandblasting. Unfortunately, all these chrome parts are all going to be satin black powder coated. Unfortunately, I couldn't get satin tinware at the time, so I just had to order that. And yeah, it means more work because now I've got to just edge the surface very lightly, take all the, I mean, it's cheap chrome anyway. Half this stuff doesn't last more than 2 years and it starts rusting. But anyway, a lot of those parts have to be black satin, and you can see the motor here. We've got to do these guys as well, and the rocker covers. So yeah, there's quite a few parts to do. So let's grab them, chuck them in the cabinet, and get them done. Let's go. Righto, ladies and gentlemen, we have all the chrome dusted off with the sandblaster, so it's nicely etched for the powder to stick to it. We've also got all these components here. Now I've sort of decided that those ones there, we can do those in the little oven. And you can see in here I've got the manifolds and the rocker covers. So we'll just powder coat. It's just going to be easier to do all the little stuff in there than using the giant oven. Oh, that's fired up, so that's ready, almost ready to go. And we're going to basically do all the tinware, all these larger items, and do it all in one go. So we're going to fire up the powder coating machine and start coating these in the satin black. You can see I have used some silicone plugs. Just anywhere that there's a thread, you don't want powder getting in the threads. So they're all blocked up, and you can see that etched look on it. That just means we're going to get a good stick. And one of the last things I like to do before I hit it with the actual torch is just the flame. Just in case there's any impurities, just put the flame over it, burn any stuff that might be on there, bits of lint or whatever. These ones are all been done, so they're ready to go. Yeah, let's start powder coating. Okay, so we've got all the pieces hung up. Yeah, we've just got to wait for this thing to get up to 197. It's getting there slowly. It takes about 20 minutes for this oven to get up to temp, so I don't see any issues with them. Now the backs, you know, they're a little bit light on the back. I didn't want to put powder on there. You're not going to see it anyway, so, you know, mainly the front halves that need to be done. These parts here will just get stuck into those as well, and we can start firing up the little oven as well. Righto guys, let's get the second batch of powder coated parts out. What do we need? Get that out of the way. Right, let's have a bit of a look here. Oh yes, very nice indeed. Powder coating at home. Oh, manifolds came out sweet. Oh, very cool indeed. Yeah, I don't see any issues at all. No issues. Yeah, manifolds come up great. Well, that's a winner. There's the other parts here that came out before. This satin black is just, I mean, it's factory. It just looks exactly like the factory. Even the tops of the carbies from the filters. Yeah, all these came up awesome. Not one blemish, not one issue. All right, well, we're going to continue to wait for these things to cool off, and then we've got the black mamba up there to start assembling. So we have opened up our ports and just matched them to the gasket, so our manifold pieces can go back on. So we can bolt these guys on, and I think we've actually got nylocks here. Yeah, we do. We've got nylocks. So, and you can see down there I have the fan shroud and the generator. And I'll tell you, this thing here, I had a lot of troubles with this not marrying up onto this surface properly. It was just not sitting level, and I ended up having to do a bit of machining work on the back side of the alternator. It was just really bad, and the fan was just wobbling around and hitting the shroud. I ended up putting 3 shims on it to make it spin so that we're not touching. And I think it might, yeah, there might be a little bit of a touch still there, but I think once it's uprighted, there's just a lot of flex in this aftermarket stuff. I wish I'd got myself a proper VW one. Disregard the bolts, they're still got to get done black, and same with these front ones here. We'll paint those as well. Gaskets here, we've got our Permatex. This stuff is good. I don't really have any issues with leaking. We've got 2 gaskets. It does get messy. Put a little bit on this face. You don't have to go overboard. Oil deflector, little louvers go down and that way. So that is the right orientation, in case anyone's wondering. Let me go and clean my hands quickly, be back. Okay, so a couple of minutes waiting for the Permatex to do its thing, and then we can put on our generator stand. Okay, so that's fine. Now we can put this one on. It's been long enough. Next is the doghouse adapter. Now, this is probably the only part that we're not going to bother with painting, because you're not going to see it. So let me just get all the parts out. IAP Performance products. Let's see how performance they are. And they're probably going to be better than those other junky ones. Again, no instructions, so you're just going to have to work this out yourself, which is pretty crap. But anyway, I'm sure we can do that, no problems. 2 large and a small, and I'm thinking the small is going to go down the bottom and the 2 large are going to go at the top, but I could be wrong. We'll see in a minute. Okay, so we've put our studs in. Now these are the silicon ones, and I don't know. We'll try them. Let's see what happens if they leak or not. Yeah, it'll be interesting to know if they do leak. I need to go and get some nylocks for the bottom too, but that's just going to basically slip on like that. And we've got the ones that came in the kit. Okay, after the test fit, we took the manifolds back off. Obviously, you got to put the tinware on first and then put the manifolds on. But I just wanted to make sure that the clearance around the tinware here was good. Needed a little bit of massaging just on that little inner edge there. All good. So both those top tinwares are in. We have our oil cooler in position, and that's all good to go. So yeah, I think next is going to be popping on the fan shroud. And I've got to go and get some more hardware, so just to, because obviously we've got bits of gold there. We can't have no gold, it's got to be black, so I'll redo those ones. Keep going. So we've got our lower piece of tinware here behind the pulley. That's all bolted on. And we're just going to put on the bottom pulley. Now, I just noticed when I fit this is hitting behind the back on the tinware. Now I can't actually push the tinware that way because we've got the CB Performance outlet for the flow. You can see here it's actually hitting the back of the tinware just there. You can see the angle, it's kicked out. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not, because there is a spacer kit you can buy to bring the pulley out so it doesn't rub. But I don't know if that's going to affect the top pulley and our alignment. So yeah, definitely a bit of a problem. I might be able to just take a bit of material away from the front of that, but I don't really want to do that either. So we will see. We will see. Yeah, I think for now I'll just leave this on here and go from there. I'm not a big fan of these aluminium pulleys because they do come loose and you will flog out your bearing. You got to keep. If you've got an aluminium pulley, unless it's one of the old school Santana ones, they actually had slightly different metal on the inside. I think it was a hardened alloy. But these cheap ones, expansion, contraction from the mild, the crank steel to alloy, they do eventually come loose. So you got to keep an eye on that bolt. Make sure you do it up periodically. Check it. Yeah, they call them bearing killers. A lot of the engine builders won't put them on their engines. They only do steel ones or ones with a metal collar inside them. So anyway, let's keep going. We can add some more parts to it. All right, we'll get the fan shroud on. See if I can lift this sucker up because it's heavy. This is the problem when you're not using German tinware, and I should have probably tried to find some. None of this match. I mean, look at the massive gap here in there. That's pathetic. It's looking good though, isn't it? Having it all black. Not sure what to do about that because well, that's not bad there. That gap's not too bad. That gap's good here. But that's terrible. Like, that's not even freaking close. Look at that. Almost put my whole finger in it. Oh, well, I've got my top pulley. We can actually put that on and see what I suspect we're not going to be even close to lining up with that. So that's probably going to have to come out and get shimmed out, I think. I mean, the back of it here is pretty good. That's sealing up on that. Let's fast forward a little bit. I thought I'd just put the carbies on. Don't worry, they're not going to stay that colour. They are going to go completely black. But I want to test the motor and run it first, just in case I've got to send one of them back, because Oven Boy's motor, one of his carbies had issues and he had to send it back and they gave him a replacement one. So I don't want to go and paint them black and then have to return them. That won't be good. So yeah, just for the time being, we're going to run it, make sure it goes all good. As you can see, I put the filters on and the distributor's just sitting in there. I haven't put it all the way in. So the alignment issue was, what you've got to actually do, you've got to keep that strap reasonably loose, and then just I used that clamp down there just to run the clamp from the generator stand to the front of the alternator and just give it a squeeze. You can see the gap's down to about 3 mil, and now I pinched this. Don't worry about that pulley, it's just kind of sitting in there, but I pinched that pulley from Oven Boy just to get the alignment, and it's perfect. I've got 2 shims in the bottom pulley, in the crank pulley, and we're going to be fine in terms of the alignment. Now that obviously is just sitting on there because I haven't got the front bolt for it, but it does all line up. So anyway, that's going to work. Not too worried about that now. Anyway, so yeah, I did order a top billet CB Performance black pulley for the top, so that's on the way. I have all my AN fittings coming for the fuel lines and the external oil cooler. They're coming, so we're just going to have to wait for those to get here. One thing I am going to do now is pull the carbies apart because they're brand new in the box. We need to make sure there's no junk inside them and just verify the butterflies have got the right shim gap when they close, and just do some adjustments to them because, you know, I mean, they are the Rod Penrose racing ones, but I've got a feeling they're probably they're just copies of real Webers. So we'll go through them, make sure there's nothing inside them, and then we can get them back on. I did try to put the distributor in. You can see here it's not actually set in, and unfortunately the whole thing's locked up because I haven't clearanced the bell housing. I just slapped it on. That's off a 58, and yeah, I didn't clearance the flywheel, so I've got to take it off the stand now and do a little bit of clearance work for that so that it can spin. So then we can get it onto our timing mark so we can slot that in. But yeah, she's starting to come along pretty nicely.
A few moments later.
So we've got the distributor mounted. You can see, and I also did get our billet pulley. Now, unfortunately, that's that little collar that sits on it like that. But the the nut was chrome, and we can't have that. So you can see here, I've got all the tinware that's all been done, all the bolts, and there's the nut. So that's getting black as well. We're getting the blacked out treatment. I think that's probably going to do it for this video because I don't have a lot of the other parts. I'm waiting for some more Dash 6 AN fittings. I've got the ones on the carbies here. I put those on, and I still need to get some for the oil pump. And I think, yeah, that's a barb. That's a brass barb. We'll get rid of that too and get an AN fitting for here as well. Might as well, eh? Yeah, issues with this tinware. You know, nothing fits very good. You can see here that line there does not marry up with that. Doesn't matter what. I actually trimmed material away in there on both sides. You can see it cinched down in the corner there. Aftermarket stuff, I mean the cases, who knows where the issues is with it, but that's about as good as I could get it. You can see this side here, it ran perfect in there, but it's up on that side. And it could be the generator stand, could be anything. Anyway, at least it's all lined up now. You can see the belt in relation to the bottom pulley there is perfect. So we've got an alignment, so we're going to call it good with that. I clearanced the back of the bell housing there so it actually does crank and turn, and so that's all good. So yeah, once we get the fuel lines, and we've got a few things we've got to do to this stand that I've been building. I've got to mount the battery here. I've got to make another mount for a fuel container up here, and then we're going to have our control box here. Then we can get all the wiring done, and then we can get this thing started, and you guys can see some fun. Now, one more thing before I go. Exhaust, vintage speed, that's half of it. It's the other little bits and pieces here. You know, inside, look at that. It's like, I know that they are supposed to be really good quality, but that's not acceptable. That all has to get die grinded down inside that. That's terrible. That's some serious flow issues going on there. So yeah, we're gonna clean all these ones up. These are going to get ceramic coated black. I'm not going to keep stainless steel looking because they discolor anyway. So that's all going to get black too. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that'll do it for this episode. We have some more builds coming. Yeah, I've got some surprises for you guys. So make sure you subscribe because, yeah, we've got other... I know we're still going to get onto that, but I've got some other exciting stuff coming too. So we'll see you in the next episode. You.